Welcome to the Stacey A. Cross Show. I am Stacey A. Cross. There's no E in my name. Every Friday at 8 a.m., I'll be coming through. We're talking health, we're talking wealth, and we're talking happiness. I'm a believer of freedom, personal growth, and your journey to success. So go ahead and share, subscribe, listen to this show, because it's going to be an amazing one. As always, you can find me at www.thecomfortkillers.com. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go. Hey, yes. Welcome to the Stacey A. Cross Show, live from Philadelphia. Whenever you are listening, it is always the perfect time. I am Stacey A. Cross, and as you know, there's no E in my name. I am the founder of The Comfort Killers, host of this amazing podcast, right? Wrote a book entitled The Comfort Killers, Your Journey to Success. I encourage you to go pick that book up. Welcome to another show here on Friday, August 31st. Just celebrated my 37th birthday on August 29th. So I'm in this beautiful space right now. Beautiful mood, feeling great about life and everything in it. Feeling great about my future, feeling great about now. The now is very important to me. So as I bring this through, I just want you to know that I'm sending you right now positive vibrations, positive love and just healing and just, encouragement and keep going and motivation and inspiration. All the beautiful things packaged up. I want you to hear that because I'm sending that to you right this moment. Feel it. Sending that off to you. So this podcast has really taken shape. You know, I changed over from the Get Uncomfortable podcast show, and you could still get that. It's 103 episodes, and that was straight up to build up the company, The Comfort Killers. And then I said, no, man, I gotta do Stacey A. Cross Show. And initially in the beginning, I made this very complete, ready for network podcast. And then I was like, man, I gotta, really be myself on this. So I just started coming in and just really bringing to you people that I love and I enjoy talking to, right? So I've had many people on this show. I had Wendy Y. Bailey was the last one, and she wrote an awesome book. I went to a seminar. That was last week. Nick Holiday, I had told us some marketing secrets. Then I had Mike McCormick, is a tax guy, man, a tax professional, helping us, work on our taxes, our numbers prior to the dates, so we don't get to scrambling. And we talk about, with Brian Humphrey, Erica Glesson, who is a medium. She brought Benjamin Franklin to the show. Akosua Dardane told us, who are you and why are you here? I had so many people on this show. Lucas Rubix, where he talks about, being a coach and, you can't simply make money by doing what you love, but then he really showed you how you can. So it's the Coach's Corner. I brought a lot of people on this podcast, and I just want to say I appreciate all of them. I appreciate everything that everyone is doing. And that's what life is about, appreciation, building more memories and moments. Today, you're going to have an awesome memory and moment because this show is going to change your life. I guarantee this show right here will change your life, guaranteed. Because while I was interviewing my next guest, her name is Dr. Kim Duramo. She's a physician, best-selling author of the MindBody Toolkit, and founder of the American Institute of Mind-Body Medicine. And she was able to help live on this show someone that has anxiety creep up on them throughout their life, that started at a point, but, they're starting to really be aware of it, recognize it, and say, okay, this thing keeps coming. The feeling keeps coming. And she was able to help the person see how they could heal themselves. And that's what she brings to us is mind-body medicine. So what does Dr. Kim do? Well, pretty much she's a board certified emergency medicine doctor. She created a career centered around the body's wisdom, not centered around the disease. Now, what does that mean? She worked with people with chronic fatigue, autoimmune illnesses, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, anxiety, adrenal fatigue, migraine headaches, thyroid disorders, food intolerance, and much more. Before I started learning more about Dr. Kim, before she came on my show, before I interviewed her, which you're going to hear today in just a few moments, I went ahead and read some testimonies, and I thought these testimonies were very powerful, so I want to give them to you now so you could just feel how much she has really used her purpose to help people. Arlene says, I was depressed, felt tired all the time, and hadn't worked out in months. I hated my job and was about to quit. Now my relationship is thriving. I love my job and I'm doing hot yoga 3 times a week. Go ahead, Arlene. Chronic injuries have healed and my body feels fantastic. This work seemed too good to be true, and it was even better. And Kate says, I felt sluggish all the time, was depressed, and was diagnosed with thyroid disease by my doctor. I was failing in my career and had just called off my engagement. After this work with Dr. Kim, everything changed. I no longer have thyroid disease, my energy is great, and I'm exercising again. My relationship is better than ever, my career is absolutely thriving, and I am in my dream life. So what Dr. Kim says here is healing is not attained from learning, but requires you to go beyond the mind and connect with your heart. And that's what she focused on today in her talk with me. And I am so excited to bring to you, because I know that you want vibrant health. I know that you want the optimal lifestyle, optimum synchronicities, beautiful things happening to you. You don't want to be succumbed by fear. And we're going to go through that. We're going to talk about fear. We're going to talk about anxieties. We're going to talk about low energy. We're going to talk about what you could do. And if you want to learn more, what you could do. I guarantee, again, like this episode will change your life. All my episodes that I've done in the past will change your life. But this one, I must say, there's something special about this one. This one is going to resonate with you because I know this is what people need. Okay? This is what people need and this is what people want. It's both things tied together, and I can't wait to get started. So without further ado, Dr. Kim D'Eramo, founder of the American Institute of MindBody Medicine, and she's coming to you live here on the Stacey A. Cross Show. Let's go.
Thank you for listening to the Stacey A. Cross Show. Now let's get into it.
I have to call the doctor in because when we're talking about things to help us, mind, body, and soul, health, wealth, and happiness, we got to bring the expert in to help us align everything in our life. Now, the special person that I have on the phone with me today is Dr. Kim D'Eramo, and she is the mind-body expert. Now, when you think initially of a doctor, we think of medicine, only medicine. What pills are you going to give me? But I think we're going to have a special conversation today because it's not just about that. It's the science of, it's a holistic approach. And I'm interested in learning more about what you do and more about my body and how I can align myself. Dr. Kim, welcome to the Stacey A. Cross Show. How are you?
Thanks. I'm great. I'm feeling pretty comfortable, but I know that I should start to get out of my comfort zone, and I feel like I should get uncomfortable.
Yeah, and, I like to live by that, and some of the things that, I get uncomfortable with has to come with this whole health aspect. So I want to get uncomfortable today, too. So I'm going to get real personal, and hopefully you can help me out. So how about that?
I'm in.
Okay, awesome. So first things first, bring our audience up to speed with who you are. Tell us a little bit about your background and what got you to doing what you're doing, and tell us what you're doing.
Well, I'm trained as an emergency medicine doctor, but always have been really intuitive and really energetically sensitive and kind of dialed into a deeper aspect of what was going on in my body, what was going on in the bodies of the patients I was seeing. And it was like this whole universe of possibility that was there that wasn't really explored in the conventional model. So, there'd be a lot of people come in with chronic pain or immune illness or like all these obscure diseases that there's really not much we understand from a conventional perspective, but that there was a ton that I understood from more of a mind-body medicine perspective of what was happening emotionally or like the subconscious patterns in this person that really explained exactly why they were sick and not getting better. And then the understanding of like what to do, how to unwind that, how can we access this inner ability to heal so we can unwind those patterns and release that. So I was in sort of a model of medicine that didn't really have space for what I was all about. And I kind of over a period of years explored other ways of doing it. What might it look like for me to assist people in a more expansive way? And, it's taken a while, but getting to know myself more and more and kind of follow my own wisdom, I have developed now the American Institute of Mind-Body Medicine, and we're international. I assist people all over the world who have had anxiety, depression, pain, fatigue, chronic autoimmune illness, to reverse disease, to actually get better after they've tried everything, climbed up every possible ladder and explored all possibilities and found nothing's happening, nothing's working, to connect within themselves in a different way. And it's been amazing what I've witnessed with the people I've worked with and in my own life too. And now I just practice online. So everything is through online courses or a Skype session, or sometimes people do come physically to work with me here in Colorado and have a retreat. But most of the people I engage with, it's through my online programs or, group programs, and even just people who view my videos on YouTube and communicating that way. So completely different world of practicing medicine, but definitely one that is a fit for me.
That's important to note, and because one of my questions to start us off was, it's almost like a seesaw. You're either on one side or you're on the other side of medicine. You're either totally holistic or you have this conventional medicine mindset where it's, okay, we all know that. That's what we're familiar with. But you sort of married the two in terms of science and approaches. And one of the you have a quote that I really like, and it's, miraculous healing doesn't go against science. It just goes beyond science as we understand it. Could you just, tell us a little bit about that?
Yes.
What you mean by that?
Well, when I first started practicing this way, I was aware of the innate intelligence in the body and how if we can access that space within you that is where you feel love or where you feel that space of serenity and ease, and how that creates chemical changes in your cells and in your bloodstream and in your immune system that allow health. It was a really fluid way of practicing and connecting people with the wisdom within themselves, but there's so much more and more that we're uncovering about why that works, how that works, what is the technology of your body. So, for example, we now know, and I've used this for years with people to kind of connect with, and you can just try it right now, take a few breaths, and even just relaxing your body. Feel what you feel. Bring your awareness to your body. And a lot of times we just want to get the result, so we don't really presence what's happening now. But if we do this, something really magical can happen. So you just relax your shoulders, take a few breaths, and you just say this little internal, hi body, here I am. I'm giving you my attention. I'm witnessing what's happening within me. And just as you breathe, notice what you feel. So if it were a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 is, I feel amazing, and 1 is, oh my God, I can't stand this, get me off the planet now, what do I feel inside? What's happening within me? And so if you kind of become aware of your number, and then just take 4 or 5 breaths. It's okay to feel what I feel. Let the belly expand with the in-breath, and let everything go with the out-breath. It's okay. Just release all of that energy. Your body already knows how. It's okay to feel what I feel. If you feel a 2, you feel a 4, and the mind is like, I don't want to feel that. Oh, I feel all these bad things. Just, it's okay to feel everything I feel right now. And breathe in. Let your belly expand, and then exhale. Let your belly come back in. Bring your awareness to your body. So if you just open your eyes and you just recheck in, when What's my number now? After 4 or 5 breaths, well, Stacey, tell me what you noticed.
Well, for me, I'm a little more in tune with my body than normal, so I love relaxation. I feel good. I feel relaxed. I feel, at ease, and I feel creative.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So if you try this, and so what was your number?
As far as I feel great, I'm up by an 8. Yeah.
Okay. So take a few breaths, and I just want you to appreciate your 8. And even if for those of you who it's a 2, I totally acknowledge and appreciate the intensity or the badness or whatever of what I'm feeling, because maybe you're feeling bad. I totally appreciate everything that I'm feeling right now. So for you, just appreciate that 8. I celebrate my 8. I am an 8. I'm willing to be an 8. I'm willing to celebrate this 8. I'm willing to honor and appreciate everything I'm experiencing right now. And then just take a deep breath. And then share with me what that was like and what's your number.
Well, that felt great. It felt great in the acceptance period, and I felt like I moved up. I feel good.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So there's something that happens within us, and first of all, we know that it's not just that you feel a certain way, but that is a chemical shift in your body. It's a bioelectric shift in your electromagnetic field. Like, we can monitor this and quantify this and kind of get a reflection of that when you feel like you're in a higher state, that there's something that happens physiologically. There's changes that happen chemically, and there's changes that happen electromagnetically. So it's awesome, like science is now kind of showing that reflection, but we also see kind of why does this work. It's not just some airy-fairy thing like, oh, okay, I'm willing to do it because I want to feel better. Okay, great. But we are really coming into a space where, yes, it's the miracle of your body, but we're beginning to understand that technology. So what we see is in the space of the heart, in the actual cells of your heart, there's an area called sensory neurites, and there are these cells that register information. And the kind of information they register are possibilities that go beyond what you already know. So you already know that, how old you are or what you did this morning. Even if you don't remember what you ate for breakfast, you know your birthday. And then you know that you don't know what I ate for breakfast this morning. You don't know maybe how to speak Swahili. And so there's what you know and there's what you don't know. And that's all in the realm of the brain, what your brain can register. So we're usually using our brain to kind of control things or move forward and advance or improve our lives. And this is a very limited way of functioning, and it ultimately exhausts us, especially if you're trying to heal yourself, which for me is something I did for years and got nowhere and actually got worse. But if we can connect with this intelligence at the level of what's being registered at the heart, it's a higher frequency awareness that goes beyond what we know. So what we know in our brain is based on how we were raised, the memories and experiences we've had, the beliefs and ideas of, our culture, our society, our religion, our schooling, whatever. And it can limit what's actually resonating in our body at the level of the heart. So, for example, if you know, like, wow, I know I should really stay in this job, but, I'm so inspired to do something else. I don't even know what that is. I better just stay safe and stay where I am because it's really scary to think about leaving. Because what I think I know is I can't make money doing, this other thing, or I have to pay the bills and I have to, it won't make any sense and I'll get lost. And it comes from the catalog of all the things you think, which are really not actually the highest truth. So what happens when we go within, we feel our body, is we begin to connect into this higher awareness and we begin to let it in. And so it might just feel like, oh, I feel good, or I was feeling pretty bad and now I feel a little bit better. But actually what the shift you've just experienced is so much more significant than that, because even going from an 8 to a 9 or going from a 2 to a 4, you're in an entirely different brain functioning pattern. You're in an entirely different hormonal balance pattern. Your immune system is receiving different messages about how to function, your digestive system, your metabolism, everything, every part of your body is receiving a higher message, one of greater wisdom, and that's aligned with the intelligence of your health.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And I know our listeners are saying the same. And if you haven't done the exercise that Dr. Kim just said, please go back, do the exercise, and then listen to everything that she just said again, because that was powerful. And what you said about how we usually focus on our brain, even in self-improvement, and I'm big for this, because I'm like, okay, let's change the mindset. Let's change those beliefs. Let's change how we thought we were raised. We could do better, okay? And we reprogram that part. But when you say it comes down to this, is it a synapse that's in these? Is it the cells? What was that intelligence part of it?
What we've seen is that these cells, it's kind of like a receptor for higher wisdom, where our body is constantly registering awareness of all kinds of things, but we're usually perceiving it through the brain. So it's like, wait a minute, that can't be real. I definitely shouldn't do that. This makes more sense. Let me do this. Especially when we approach like our health or our meaningful relationships. It's like, oh, well, they said I should do this, and it makes a lot of sense, so I guess I should try this diet. And if it's not working, people have told me I'm not good enough, and so I guess I'm just not doing good enough, so I should try harder at that diet. So we discount what we know, this inner space where it's like, I know that I know, but because it goes beyond what we understand, we don't validate it, and so we don't act on it the way that we could. And
because
we
don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, it's like we're not willing to let ourselves know the space that goes beyond what we don't know, what we've never even considered.
Wow,
like you said, please.
Yeah, no, I'm fascinated because there's so much possibility there. There's like so much
infinite possibility there.
Yeah.
Infinite what's possible.
Wow. So is it almost you are thanking your higher self, your awareness, your spiritual body, your being, and then you're instructing it? Is the body waiting for instruction?
The body is actually like your receptor, and it's waiting for your choice. So if we had to think about instruction, it can get a little complicated because you're like, how do I don't know that computer code for the wisdom of my body to give it the instruction. And so people will try to say, like, I'm healthy and strong, or do an affirmation. Wealth comes to me easily. But if they're not aligned with the frequency of it, they're not really choosing it. It's already here, but it's like on some level we're blocking it from coming in and giving that message and guidance to our body. Most of the actions and behaviors we do are not consciously driven. They're totally unconscious. And so if we surrender to this level of wisdom, it's like that intelligence patterns everything that's happening within us and every choice that we make.
Wow. I mean, first of all, thank you for coming up and allowing me to see this. This is amazing stuff. Wow. So I do a lot of muscle testing. Now, for those, I even wrote about it in my book, because I'm like, okay, this innate self knows everything. And so I ask my body questions. I move forward. I move back. The energy's like I feel the energy either move negatively or move positively. What do you think about muscle testing?
Well, this has to do with our electromagnetic field, the bioelectric field of the body.
Yes.
If we're in a state of harmony, or if we're in disharmony, but we choose to just allow it to be what it is, that is in itself more harmonic. When we're in a space of allowing, or in a space of appreciating, like I said, even if you just appreciate, wow, this pain is intense, this shifts the electromagnetic field that your body is putting out and that your body is experiencing. And so when you allow that, that's what creates the shift. You don't have to micromanage it. You know, you can just invite it. but that allows the body to receive different messages, and that allows everything to happen differently. And it actually is what invites circumstances into our life. It invites in synchronicities where we don't know why we picked up the phone to call our friend, but that was the exact moment we picked up the phone to call our friend. And it was like, oh my God, I was just about to call you because blah, blah, blah. We experience synchronicities. So we're tapping that intelligence, but it can be really fluid where we choose to tap into it and we allow it to guide who we're being.
Wow, that's amazing stuff. And you know, a lot of the times, low energy, I've seen that you mentioned low energy. You work with a lot of different people with conditions, disease, illnesses, and low energy fatigue, and we attribute to some topical fixes, right? So let me go grab a Red Bull. Let me go grab some coffee. It's 2 p.m., you know, I need more sleep, even though you got 8 hours plus another 4 hours. Oh, I need more sleep. This is what it's from. Why don't you think then that we go to the source? Like, because this information is not out there. Is it educational, institutional, societal, cultural? It's a shame that we search for, you know, alternative approaches such as mind-body healing in a secondary or even tertiary, maybe even fourth, fifth stage of a condition or illness or feeling. Why do you think we just don't use this as preventative?
Well, we haven't really been in a consciousness where we access this, meaning like we've all been in so much fear that it's like, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to have this. What do I do? And so we've looked to society, we've looked outside of us for answers. Because we've been so much more interested in suppressing our fear and not as interested in truly flourishing and prospering. I mean, I know we all would say like, oh, I want to prosper, I want to have abundance. But if I'm too busy running from my fear, I'm not really letting it in. And so our society, our culture has matched that, right? Like the news is like, oh, you want to engage this fight or flight system? I'll give you 20 reasons to be in fight or flight right now. And then we watch the news and we're like, oh, you know, oh my God, it's terrible. It's worse than I thought. But it's the only reason we're even like engaging with that or doing that behavior is because on some level we are in fight or flight and we haven't been willing to move through it. We're still trying to fight it and suppress it and run from the tiger.
So actually in accepting where we are at any given point and being there.
Yes, that is the harmonic that opens things. And then, you know, like you were saying, how can we have this effect on everything around us? How can these things happen? Well, when we shift our electromagnetics, that's the signal. It's like a really powerful subconscious signal to everyone around us. And it has everything to do with, you know, one of my clients worked in like a corporate job, and she was like, I really don't want to do this anymore, but I don't know what it could look like. And she started functioning in a totally different way. So how she communicated with people, like because she changed so much, everything was different. And it turned out that her boss began kind of seeing the value she brought to the whole group. And so he asked her to do more and asked her to do more. And she eventually was like, you know, I'm kind of burnt out and I actually want to leave this job. And before she went in for that conversation, we had a session, and she just chose to align with that prosperity. What does it feel like? What does it smell like? What does my body feel like when I just honor myself so fully and the world shows up as a reflection of that? And so when she went in, she asked for working well, like only a fraction of the days she was working, doing them from home instead of being there like all the time. Wow. And for, I think it was like twice as much money as what she was making.
Wow.
And her boss was like, I'm 100% in and let's set it up because this is what we want you to do.
Wow.
And all came out and was like, oh my God, how did that happen? I can't believe it, because she was so afraid before of like, I don't even think I'm worthy. Like, why would they let me do that? But because she aligned with the knowing of like, I bring this infinite value and I acknowledge what it does to everyone I'm with, to the whole corporation as a whole, and what it creates what it makes possible that wasn't possible. And that is infinite value. And I'm willing to be that and acknowledge that and receive whatever is the reflection of that. And because she was resonating in it, it opened him up to be able to acknowledge it as well.
He had no other choice. Right? I mean,
well,
you
yeah,
know,
like people
just
either bump out of your reality.
Without. It's so crazy because we come up and we're like, oh my God, they said yes, or, you know, this is going to work and I can't believe it. And you're like, you know, sometimes there's no other choice. You reflected that you're so aligned that there's only one option. It's what you want. It's you already.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of go out there and grab that and hold it. It's ours already. And I think that's the hardest state to get into. So my next question was, well, how long? Let's say a person with they are not aligned at all. Okay, we, 0 on the chart. I want to get aligned. How long do you think it takes for someone to, with no knowledge even of some spirituality, to get to that form of when they're in total alignment?
It's instant, and it doesn't have to be total alignment. It just needs to be 2% more ease.
Boom.
With where I am now. Like, that is enough to open amazing possibilities. And it seems like you said, like, go out there and grab it and hold it. But you see how even that is like a stress state of, like, it's out there and I got to grab it? Remember, there is a lot more serenity in this than we think. It's in here, and it's right. It's not going anywhere, and we don't even have to grab it and hold it. We can just play with it gently for 10 seconds.
Dr. Kim, you are blowing my mind. Comfort killers, I know you're listening to this, and this is totally uncomfortable because we're as self-improvement junkies, and we're going to go out there and hustle, and we're going to go kill it, and we're going to get this business. And then Dr. Kim comes in and says, wait a second. It's already, it's inside. You're already stressing that it's out there. Come on. So that's
I
amazing,
did that
though.
thing. I, for years, was the go out and get it. Like, I was a champion, go out and work your butt off and overcome more and, like, try even harder. Like, all of that. And I think if I hadn't maxed out on that, I probably would still be trying that route because it, for me, was way more comfortable than really meeting my fear. And, like, what the surrender would mean, like, whoa, if I stop, I'll be nothing. I can't do that. But because it never brought me anything, like that approach of go out and grab it, it never brought me what it was that I really, really wanted. And when I finally let go and was in allowance of, hey, that 2%, what would it take for this to be 2% more at ease, more in serenity? Well, I'd have to let go of the idea that I'm not doing enough. I'd have to let go of the idea that I'm not good enough or I can't have it or it's hard and I should work hard. I'd have to let go of that. And should I let go of that? Well, yeah, and then I had to feel all the fear that held it in place so that fear could transmute and move through. And I no longer carried that fear or that limitation. And so then things could come in with ease. But I had to choose it.
Wow. I mean, this is please understand how mind-blowing this is because I look at me and alignment very seriously, but then there's always these two sides where you're dealing with the physical weight of the world, which is physical and heavy, and you gotta play this hardball. There's laws out here, there's everything, and then you take it in, and I do that through meditation. And so we're meditating to go deal with the world. We're meditating and bringing everything back to go back up, wake up, and deal with the world. Now this flow state of synchronicities and beauty and just like you understand and and even if you don't know, it's okay. Like that style. How do you marry the two? How did it work for you? Because I want to do it. I'm ready to, I'm Comfort Killers, understand this right now. I just purchased a couple of your books, right? Because I want to give one to a listener right now because that's how much I believe in this technology and this spirituality and this approach, the MindBody Toolkit, and it is available on Dr. Kim's website, which is in the show notes, as well on Amazon. It's the #1 Amazon bestseller, okay? And it's a book that will ignite your body's healing capacity so you could increase energy and end anxiety and release pain. And we're going to talk about anxiety in a minute because I have someone here with me and I want to get to the bottom of something. But at the end, how did you stop and be okay with it?
Oh, there was so much more pain in continuing to try to push the boulder up that hill. And finally, it was too much pain. I realized, I woke up. I woke up and said, this can't possibly be what life requires of me. This cannot possibly be what it takes to create my dreams. Because it was so discordant and so disharmonic that I finally woke up. And then I had to let go of everything I learned and everything I thought about everything, because I was the best student of all of this self-help stuff and Tony Robbins, Be Better, and all that. But what I really needed was like something of a higher frequency of, it didn't make sense to my mind. So I could say like to access pure love, to know that I already am the result. I don't have to try to create the result. But that really was what it was like. It was like, I need to create this result because it's a means to an end. And when I have that, then I'll feel better. But the key was just like where I am right now, and all my crap and all my fear and all my not enoughness, not beyond it, like right here, right now, can I find a space where I'm willing to experience this, where I'm willing to feel what I'm actually feeling? Because the power is in me. So it was in the willingness to feel it, and in the action of sensation, like objective sensation, like, oh, wow, this is really intense. Oh, my gosh, I think I'm about to die if I don't get up and run. But I'm just going to witness this. For 10 seconds, I'm just going to feel what's really here. And so to presence it, I allowed it to transmute. I didn't realize that I was that powerful. I didn't realize that I didn't really have to run. So it's like, you know, where the pedal hits the metal, like where it really matters. It's, will I be willing to access it in this moment? Because there is nowhere out there, or nowhere in the future, nowhere else that exists where I'm being invited so strongly to open into my abundance.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying today's episode, interviewing Dr. Kim Duramo right now as we speak. I want you to take a quick break and maybe do this for me. Go ahead and lead me on all my socials. At Stacey A. Cross on Twitter, at Stacey A. Cross on Instagram, at Stacey A. Cross on Facebook, and at The Comfort Killers on YouTube. So go ahead and lock in our YouTube channel where we're going to be pumping out new videos weekly for you to help you get uncomfortable, get your mind right, get your health right, get your wealth right, get your happiness right. It's all for you. If you're loving the value that you're receiving today on this episode, I need you to do me another favor. I need you to share this podcast out, share this stream out into your network, because as it's helping you, Dr. Kim wants to give value to everyone around you. So go ahead and share it out on Facebook, and wherever you're listening to it, just hit that share button. Subscribe to this podcast, The Stacey A. Cross Show, for more episodes like this all the time. I come through to you weekly, and you can find it on thecomfortkillers.com. All the information that you're hearing, as a reminder, in this episode today is on the show notes, is in the show notes. So go ahead and click those after you listen and follow up. I encourage you to purchase Dr. Kim's book, and I encourage you to purchase the video program. But you gotta take action. We can't just sit around any longer. Now listen to the rest of this episode. I hope you're enjoying it so far. There's much more to come. I am.
Wow. Dr. Joe Vitale is a good leader to me, and he, you know, I frequent his page and his teachings and a few of his books. But one of the things I come across with Dr. Joe Vitale was Ho'oponopono. And I stumbled, I think I stumbled, but it was right for me at the time. And I watched the videos. I got a certification in it. I loved it. It's all about, if you don't know what Ho'oponopono is, it's the Hawaiian forgiveness ritual where you take 100% responsibility for everything in your universe. I mean, the good, the bad, the ugly, the disruptive. You just take it all in. Someone blew their horn yelling at you, it's your fault. You take that responsibility. And at first you're like, wait a second, I can understand being responsible for myself. But if you're really 100% responsible, and you're responsible for everything, it's yours to control. So what do you think about Ho'oponopono? I did come across a video where you mentioned it. How has it helped you? How do you think it'll help others?
Well, the perspective of it is that everything in my experience is a reflection of the vantage point I'm holding, not this like solid, unchanging thing that I got to go out there and manipulate if I want it to be different. But it's actually a reflection of where I'm residing. So if there's something I don't like, the power and the ability lies within me to come into acceptance of what it brings up in me. Because especially like as a practitioner, people will come in and it's, oh my gosh, my fibromyalgia or my chronic fatigue syndrome. And there was so much fear and there was so much heaviness of like, this is impossible. I've already seen 20 doctors and I don't know if you can help me. And then they'd be in this desperation of like, please tell me you can help me, which would feel really heavy. Or this dissuasive, well, I don't even know what I'm doing here, but maybe there's something. That would feel like, oh, geez, that's not a comfortable position to be in, because I would start to buy into their belief that like, whoa, this really is impossible. Oh my God, you really have tried everything. And when you feel that, you're feeling your own heaviness. People think I'm taking on others' negative energy, or I got to protect myself from, I got to put up a barrier. But that's not exactly what's happening. It's, can I let this be an invitation for me to feel my powerlessness more fully and meet my despair more fully, so that I don't buy into the energy you're in the way you've bought into it, so that I can actually be a source for you to go beyond it, for you to dissolve it, because of the space I'm holding for knowing that you're way bigger than that. And so we can hold this despair and have this despair and yes, and breathe it in fully and completely and breathe out. And now there's a new moment. What else is possible? And invite in new possibilities instead of trying to attack the bad thing. And so Ho'oponopono taught me how to do that. It showed me that I was that powerful and gave me an access tool, how to use that for myself and for others.
That's beautiful. And before because I have a friend here, I think she's having anxiety waiting for her. No, she said no, she's not. She's just thinking we're both very interested and keyed into what you're saying here. How do you think one will prevent or overcome low energy, let's say, fatigue and low energy? If I come to you, hey, Dr. Kim, I've been having low energy. I don't even want to get out of bed. I'm sleeping normally. I'm sleeping actually more than 8 hours per day. You would think I would jump up out of bed and go meet and greet the day. How do we get to the root cause of that?
Well, what we can do, it's funny because we think, why am I having this? Why am I having this? Why do I feel so bad? What's wrong with me? And if we're asking that, then the information we're going to get is going to reflect that. So for me, that's where I was for a long time. What's wrong with me? And I'd find like a million things that were wrong with me. Oh, I'm allergic to this food, or I'm allergic to that thing, or I'm energy sensitive, whatever. But none of those created the result I wanted. Or we ask, I got to get to the root. I got to get to the root. But do you see how it can be like a desperate search? Because I think I need to understand it before I can fix it. But what if instead I just asked, what would it take for me to be free and be in vitality and freedom and ideal health? Well, now I'm operating on a different channel because I'm willing to access something that goes beyond me and receive the result instead of trying to make it happen. that was sort of the shift for me, was like, I really believed I needed to make it happen. Hey, I'm a creator. I'm creating my life. I have a whole video on my front page of my website at drkimd.com that's about this. It's about this space we go into where it's this duality of positive, negative. I got to be positive. I got to work harder. I got to overcome, versus this space of, oh, if I surrender, that's giving up. I can't do that. I can't give up. If I give up, the illness will take over. So that was my fear, was like, if I surrender to fatigue, I'll just be this endless blob on a couch and I'll never do anything. I have to push through. And that was the biggest lie. My nature is not, that none of our nature is the blob on the couch who's worthless. It's only our fear that thinks we're worthless. So as long as I held that perspective, I had to keep going faster and getting better. So to come into the wholeness required me to release the resistance so that I could embrace the fatigue, let the fatigue move through. It's not the truth of who I am. Anything I embrace that's true strengthens. Anything I embrace that's false dissolves. So the fatigue, and I literally had this really bad chronic fatigue. It literally dissolved. So I no longer had that problem. I no longer had that thing to fight against. I could be energized and actually receive it for free.
Wow. This is golden stuff. I might have to slap a price tag on this podcast today. Hey, Comfort Killers, I'm so happy that you're here. We're listening to a beautiful podcast that'll help you really align with yourself, your true self, body, mind, soul, spirit. What I'm getting from this is that we're scared. We're afraid to let go, let be. We're afraid to accept, and we want to go make it happen. That hits me at home because what do I learn? It's that you're right. We're creators, and I'm going to go create everything. I'm going to go design the world. And then what happens? Frustration when it doesn't happen, because that's really not what it's supposed to be. So I've been through an emotional roller coaster for the past year. And it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. And I have to get through it. So I'm always putting it on me. I have to get through it. But every time I think about it, I don't want to be in that state. I don't want to be in an emotional state, but I never accepted that state. So now I'm thinking, hey, did I even approach this wrong? Am I even over this emotional roller coaster? Am I still on it? Am I pushing it aside, right? So how, because I know emotional energy is very important. I left my employer of 7 years in April, and so, you know, you always get that. And I had that feeling that you were talking about. I know inside me, something deep down knows that this is the best move ever, and I don't understand it. This looks crazy to everyone. There's no plan to plan. I just got to go. And I did it. And then here comes, like, the heavy realities. Like, okay, Stace, why did you do that? Are you going through regret? And I pushed that aside. Like, no, I'm going to still go off of the inspiration. But I can't help that those things come up to me. I can't help that. So what do you got for me? Could you heal me?
No. It's like I can assist you with connecting with the intelligence that allows you to heal, which is way more valuable than I'm healing you, right? Because I can give you a pill, and then you have to come back for that pill. And, like, you know, what if I die? You know, it can't be outside of us. So what if you remember, like, or choose those resources that access you to the intelligence within you? Because I used to choose all the time like hundreds of thousands of dollars of stuff that would help me or fix me or heal me or whatever, but I was choosing from fear, and none of it really ever worked. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? What is that person doing wrong? But I didn't know that once I began to invest in the things that came from my knowing or from love or from joy, that or just be willing to do the things that would connect me more with my innate wisdom, because I just wanted to fix it. Let me just get beyond it and go about my business and keep, do this thing that I know I got to do. But like life had something bigger in store for me. I wouldn't have chosen that. I didn't even know that was a possibility. But hell yes, like that's way better than working for it and quote unquote succeeding, is being in the total freedom and endlessness of the serenity and the gift and the abundance.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, everything that you're saying, I'm just looking out the window right now, and there's some big puffy clouds, and your voice, your words is hitting me in ways that you don't even know. So thank you for that. And right now I have my friend with me, my girlfriend actually, and we've been talking, and a part of her, I always wanted to help her work through this, but she gets anxiety, and she's had it for a while. She attributes it to say, I had it, this is just me now, I have it, right? Is that what? Yes. So her name is Barbara, and she's here.
Hi, Dr. Kim, I'm Barbara. How are you?
I'm
so excited for this opportunity because I've been dealing with anxiety off and on for a while. Let me just go back a little bit. I was on medication for about 6 to 7 years. So during that time, I was obviously getting by off the strength of the pills. And then as soon as I met Stacy, things changed for me a little bit. And she wasn't agreeing with the fact that I was on pills, because eventually it got to a point where I was like spaced out, sort of say, and not thinking quick and forgetting things easily. So when she pointed that out, then I recognized it. I was like, you know what, you're right, it is happening. So then I stopped taking the medication from one night to the next. And thanks to her and basically coaching me, it's all in the mind. The mind's powerful. And she's pretty much introduced me to this whole spiritual journey, and I truly appreciate it. And I feel much better. I feel like I've come a long way, because it was really hard for me. I was always crying and emotional and anxious. And even though I practice gratitude every day now, and we exercise and we're meditating and we're doing all these great things, and I talk to myself all the time and say all these positive things, sometimes I wake up.
You haven't fully met the fear. You haven't fully met the fear, because you can feel it in your frequency. There's a beautiful practices, but if I'm doing them to stay ahead of the fear, it's not the same as using them as a true appreciation of self, a true surrender of everything that I am to this higher aspect of who I am. See, we all are kind of trying to still run our agenda and escape the fear. We can move through something that might help. Does that resonate though? Because I think a lot of people will use self-help like that, and it's to get something.
The thing that I struggle with is that I can wake up feeling great and full of gratitude and happy, and I have all these wonderful things ahead of me, and I know I do, but then sometimes it just lands on me, like the weird feeling, the shortness of breath, nervous, the butterflies in my stomach. And that all reminds me of when I felt anxiety. So sometimes I'm like, do I think it's anxiety, or is there something else? But it's the same feeling, the symptoms and everything. So then I cry.
So let's move through this, because you can let your system know that whatever that energy coming up in that moment, known and unknown, that's creating that experience and those symptoms, like, body, it's okay to experience this. Whatever is moving through, it's okay to relax and let it move through. And then your experience will just be the sensation of energy. It won't be necessarily painful or unpleasant or overwhelming. It will just be, it can actually be really a beautiful experience. Sounds weird, I get it, but when we're aware of what's actually happening, it's just energy moving through. The more we allow it, the more fluidly it moves through, and the more it can actually feel really serene and beautiful and alive.
Right. I think what you're saying too is, in that moment when you said that, it's actually, it's here and it's okay. Right. So it changes, because what you were saying in the beginning with the chemicals, these are changes inside the body now. You've accepted that, and it's changing. It's transmuting, if that was the word that I think that you were using earlier.
Yes.
So I think that, allowing, because I think we're repressing it, we're aggressive towards it, we're trying to block it, we're trying to cover it up, trying to make it look pretty, doing other things, but we never went through it. We never really went through it. And it's the fear that we don't want to go through that.
Right.
Right?
draining.
Yeah, yeah.
To feel this off and on.
Yeah.
Because I'm good and I'm on a roll, and then it just hits me, and I'm like, well, what is this? So I sit there and I think of all the good things going on, and the good things that are upon us, really. And it's still, and then I sit there and I talk to myself like, okay, it's fine. I take full responsibility for everything, and I say all these positive things to myself, but all I can do is cry. Like once I cry, that helps me feel better. And I'll ask myself, well, why am I crying? So it's just
so we don't need a reason necessarily. We don't need to know why we're crying, but we think we do, or we want to, because we want to control it and understand and feel like, oh, I'm not going crazy. But what if your body is just wanting to release energy, and because of your way of being, I've got to be positive, I got to be positive. It can't just release the energy that's there. It's like it has to look a certain way. And so then it has to kind of overwhelm you, and then you let the energy release, and it looks like crying. But if you could just allow that and invite that, it could look like anything. And maybe it's crying, but you're like, oh, I'm so glad I moved that energy. But usually it will be something much more fluid and actually something that could be really enjoyable. Can you make more space for all of you to come through?
So I still have to work on some things.
Well,
right?
just when it comes up, that's when you work on it, right?
Which I'm still going to keep working on myself. But I just wanted to understand what's going on.
Because that's the brain, right? Is that the brain, Dr. Kim, that wants to know?
Yeah, like you don't need to work on yourself, Barbara. The miracle of you can come through and source you, and you're way bigger of like who you're here to be than you'd ever imagine. So what if you just let that bigness come through? And sometimes it's like screaming, crying, and sometimes it's dancing and celebrating, and let it look like whatever it looks. But so let's just do a little exercise so you can make space for it. How would that be?
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so take a few deep breaths.
Okay.
Okay. And then just feel into your heart. Good. And then I want you to feel into this fear. Been there for so many years. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to get beyond it, get past it. And just feel it. Okay, good. Now put your hand right on your heart. Do you feel it?
Yes.
Okay. And now I'm going to have you repeat after me. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So feel this feeling. Feel this fear. Okay, now you'll just say, all of this fear that's lived within me.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
All of this fear that's lived within me.
All of this fear that's lived within me.
I'm willing to feel this more fully now.
I'm willing to feel this more fully now.
Yep. Body, it's okay to feel all of this.
Body, it's okay to feel all of this.
All right, take a few more deep breaths. Connect with it again. Yeah, you tend to go into your head, like so all your energy goes back up in your head. So just keep your awareness down in your heart, down in your belly, down in your pelvis. Good. And say, I am willing to know what I know.
I am willing to know what I know.
I am willing to be all that I am.
I am willing to be all that I am.
And that is scary.
And that is scary, you said? Scary.
Because, yeah, scary.
I wasn't sure. That is scary.
Because it's so big.
Because it's so big.
And it's so unknown.
And it's so unknown.
And it's so unacceptable to so many people.
And it's so unacceptable to so many people.
And surely I shouldn't be this big.
And surely I shouldn't be this big.
Take a deep breath. Feel it. All the ways you've kind of said that, just oh boy, wait, not that. That's way too much. So just feel that. And you can just repeat after me. It's okay for me to surrender to all that I am.
It's okay for me to surrender to all that I am.
In every moment.
And every moment.
No matter what that looks like.
No matter what that looks like.
a deep breath. Feel all the fear. Feel what's coming up. What do you feel?
Like crying.
Go ahead. That's it. So you move a lot of energy from crying. So it's okay if you're not giving yourself a lot of outlet, the energy is going to move how it has space to move. So feeling overwhelmed.
Right. I'm not feeling negative. I do feel a sense of relief or a little bit of peace at once, but there's just a way you've learned to hold it together. And so there's this Barbara that the world sees, and that Barbara is very lovely, but it's not the whole of who Barbara really is. So you're holding it together to let the Barbara come through this one outlet of, here's Barbara, but it's not a big enough space for all of you to fit through. Right.
Stacey, do you resonate with that when you know her?
Yeah, I'm looking at her right now, and yes, she's huge, and her whole being is huge. To me, I don't think you're just letting that out. There's some fear there.
Okay, so are you ready to go with this, Barbara?
I am. I'm ready.
Are you ready to live unleashed?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so feel into this, all right? So you're going to keep your hand on your heart. Fear, come right in as much as you like.
Oh, fear, come in as far as you like, as much as you like.
Open me up.
Open me up.
So that I can be more.
So that I can be more.
Break me open.
Break me open.
So I can't avoid it.
So I can't avoid it.
It's okay. I will make space for you.
It's okay. I will make space for you.
You are opening me to all that I am.
You're opening me to all that I am.
The parts that I've judged, the parts that I've suppressed.
The parts that I've judged, the parts that I've suppressed.
So that I can let all of it be alive.
But I can let all of it be alive.
And then just take a few deep breaths and just feel all the ways I've made that wrong, all the ways I have to be careful, all the ways I have to be acceptable, and that's what's really important. Just all the stuff I bought and sold to myself, and just feel all of that. It's done. You're done living that way. It's not enough for you. It's not even required anymore. Now there's relaxation in your body. So when this energy that's moving through, which is just energy, your body isn't going to contract and squeeze it and, wait, no, and then kind of go out of control and like the anxiety attack.
Right.
Your body will be like, oh, I can feel into this, I can sense into this, and I can let all of this energy move.
Energy is just so real, huh?
It's powerful. So it's essentially, wow. Give me a hug. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
All my self-improvement erased in one session. I love
10
it.
minutes.
10 minutes.
Well, Barbara, this is someone who loves you, and you can let yourself receive that, knowing she really sees who you are. Like, you're accepted as you are, these deep spaces of you. There is space for them in your world.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I believe it. Yeah.
Good. Good. You're smiling.
Kim, thank you so much. I truly appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It means a lot because it's been a struggle for me. So to actually, no, because usually a lot of the stuff, which I was impressed because a lot of the people, like interview the people I come across, are when they want to help you with your mind, your body, everything is a spiritual thing, to meditate, but it's different with you. Because when I saw the anxiety, I was like, oh my, I need to hear this. I need to hear what she has to say. Because that's like a challenge for me. And that's the only thing I feel to this day, that it just comes and goes. And it was really good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so much love. Yeah, good. It's always good.
I love it. I love it. Now, hold on. I got another dog. I'm going to call my whole family up to come to this podcast. I am on Dr. Kim's website right now, and I'm looking over the video program of the MindBody Toolkit video program. It's something that we're going to get as a family here, but I encourage you, if you like what you heard and it's really hit you, it resonates with you, and that's how you know it. Sometimes you fall on a podcast and don't know why, how. Who's Stacey A. Cross? Okay, who's Dr. Kim? What are they saying? And all of a sudden, it was the right thing that you needed, something that you needed. So I want to encourage you to check out more of Dr. Kim, her YouTube. Beautiful information on her YouTube. YouTube gives it all away. And I think you said you have some webinars coming up. Is that right?
We do have some webinars coming up. I've been sharing about my practitioner program. It's called Be the Medicine. And it's for anyone who's really wanting to embody this space that allows healing in your body for yourself and for those around you, whether it's your children or your loved ones or your patients and clients or anyone who's in the space that, is expanding your world. So we've been sharing a lot about that, and there are questions about, how do I start living my life purpose, or why am I getting depleted taking on everyone else's energy? And so being able to relate to all of these things in a totally more expansive way, so you tap into the power that you are and the unlimited source that you are, and let that come through to create your life. So for anyone who comes, my site is drkimd.com. You can subscribe. We'll make sure that we email the invitation. Actually, they can look at the replay. That's drkimd.com/purpose. And there are some really great mind-body tools that we put in there that, help you kind of to align with this, to come into that inner alignment that ignites all of this magic in your life. drkimd.com/purpose. And yeah, there's lots of stuff we share all the time though, like that I mail out regularly, and videos that I'll share and things like that. So we're in the MindBody community in Facebook. So that's kind of where the conversation is happening. If you'd like to be a part of that, the MindBody community is the group in Facebook. And I would love to connect with any of you more fully.
Awesome. And so, so you're saying then, I get bad cramps. So you're saying, feel the cramps. Let the cramps come every month.
Well, a lot of times with cramping or PMS, it's the result of repression and suppression in our creativity, that we haven't really fully allowed ourselves to be fully feminine and fully expressive and in the unknown and the, out of control of who we really are, and let that all come through. So that translates into tensions in the pelvis. And so then the uterus and ovaries don't really get the energy and the oxygen and the nutrients that they need to be totally healthy. And they kind of start screaming once in a while like, oh, I'm not really functioning great down here, but just getting by. And it's like, all right, we'll wait till later. That's not so important. We got to go, go, go. But could I honor myself more fully in all the ways that, go beyond my comfort zone to let something else in?
She threw it in there. Now it's got to happen. I had such a blast talking to you. I think we're going to have to follow up because I know I'm going to get tons of questions. So I think we're going to have to follow up maybe with a Facebook Live or a video to just bring this out. I'm now on a mission to bring this out. And after listening to you, I'm going to be more in tune with that and instantaneously change the direction of my life. So I want to thank you for coming on the Stacey A. Cross Show, because you did more than just like tell me about something today. You like shifted my whole beingness. I don't think you know what you just did to me today. So I want to thank you for being open and living your purpose, because without you doing that and without you saying, you know what, the medical community is cool, but I'm going to follow my thing and really help people. And so I want to thank you for being on the show, and Barbara thanks you as well.
Amen. Thank you.
I appreciate it. So comfort killers, and before I go, because usually I always like round it out for people like I know. Do you have anything that you want to say? Do you want to round it out? Is there something that you want to touch on?
Well, I know that like when you and I know comfort killers, like we can find big and small ways of getting out of our comfort zone. And what this really does is it's like releasing identities we have that keep us small. So, for example, for me, it was always really important, like, I honor my commitments. If I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. But what if life, like my organic life, is asking me to do something out of that boundary? Would I be willing to be fully alive and let go of that identity of that quote-unquote, perfect person who always is there on time, or like whatever, let go of that definition of myself so I can be something bigger. So when we had our initial interview scheduled, there were so many things going on, and I was like, whoa, it's really not aligned for me to keep this on my schedule. What if I can rearrange this and give myself more ease? My daughter was like, she's starting school, like there's a bunch, I had a little infant at home, and it was like, no, you made a commitment, and it was like, wait a minute. What if I let go of everything I think needs to happen and ask Stacy for what I need and be willing to be uncomfortable? Like maybe she's going to think I'm a flake. Maybe she's going to say no, or I lose an opportunity. Can I just receive that and let you think what you think and let myself receive what I receive? And it's all perfect, and just choose what really resonates for my ease and my alignment so that I can receive it. And so that, for me, is getting out of my comfort zone so that I can let something more be created.
I love that. I love that, because I'm a firm believer of it, and I just had a conversation about this, where if you make a commitment, and it was on Twitter, they were having a nice conversation, a lot of people are tweeting about it. Hey, if you make a commitment, is it okay for you to cancel the commitment? And, I mean, they're going in. They're one after the other. No, you got to stick to what you say. And here I come. It's okay. And it's like, that's all I said. It's okay to cancel commitment. If you have something that came up and it doesn't align, it's okay. Why isn't it okay? But because you know what? We have to live this certain way. You're right to say that it's identities. We're picking up identities. Hey, this is who I am. I'm a hustler. I get up at 5 a.m., and if I get up at 6, I'm hard on myself, and I was like that, Dr. I am so hard on myself, and even to this day, Barbara has to tell me, stop it. Give yourself a break. It's okay. And I'm like, why am I racing? What am I doing? So hearing this conversation came at the most perfect time. Yesterday was my birthday. I had some big breakthroughs on my birthday saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it my way. And it's okay. So hearing this reinforced it when we talk about synchronicities. And that's why I'm over here like with my mouth open, looking out the window like, wow. Okay. So imagine if you wouldn't have canceled because it aligned, it wouldn't have happened in such a perfect way. I believe. Yeah. I believe. Because it just, it's too beautiful. So, I mean, what you're saying is absolutely correct. I think we're living up to something that I don't even know the standards of who or what, but they're not our own. And once they're not our own, we have to do something about that. We have to kind of really get inside ourselves and say, who says this? Who knows this? And stop questioning everything. So thank you for bringing all that information to me. You're absolutely a comfort killer, especially when we cancel and reschedule, because I think it's the best period, best time. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, please share this out into your network. There's tons of value all wrapped up in this hour-long interview. And I want to thank you again, Dr. Kim, for coming on the Stacey A. Cross Show. I'm sure we'll be talking to each other in the future.
You've just listened to a episode of the Stacey A. Cross Show. You can subscribe and get more episodes on my website, staceyacross.com, and my company's website, thecomfortkillers.com. As always, you can get me on all my social media at Stacey A. Cross. Go ahead and subscribe, and we will see you next week. I am.